You know that feeling, right? That light bulb moment, that game-changing idea? But then what? How do you actually turn that spark into something real without getting completely lost? Well, if you've ever been handed a big new project, congrats. You're not just doing your job anymore. You're what we call an accidental project manager. And in this explainer, we're going to give you the blueprint to succeed. So let's just start with the big question, the one that probably keeps a lot of us up at night. We've all seen it happen. A fantastic idea, full of potential, that just fizzles out. It never gets off the ground. Why? Why does this happen so often? You know, the honest truth is, it's rarely because the idea was bad. The real problem is the giant gap between a brilliant concept and a successful reality. And the bridge that gets you across that gap, well, that's the plan. That's all project management really is. It's about building that bridge, on purpose, one piece at a time.
Okay, so let's get into it. Before we can start building anything, we have to understand what we're building on. Before you can manage a project, you've got to be crystal clear on what a project even is, and maybe more importantly, what it isn't.
So here's the classic definition, but all you really need to remember are two key words: temporary and unique. That's it. Think about it like planning a big party. It has a start date and an end date. It doesn't go on forever, right? And the result is a one-of-a-kind event. That, my friends, is a project. And this is the perfect way to see the difference. Your day-to-day job, that's operations. It's the engine that keeps the whole thing running. It's repetitive, it's ongoing. But a project? Oh, a project is a rocket launch. It's a special temporary mission designed to create something totally new. So, you've figured it out. You've got a rocket launch on your hands. Awesome. What's next? Well, every rocket needs a mission. This is the part where you get super clear on exactly what you're building and, just as important, who you're building it for. You can't come up with a solution until you know exactly what problem you're solving. Vague stuff like "our scheduling is a mess" doesn't help anyone. You need to be specific. A powerful problem statement is something like this: hospital resources aren't being utilized efficiently because of poor scheduling. See? That clarity is your North Star. And here's where the magic happens. A really well-defined problem almost writes the goal for you. The solution just flows right out of it. The goal isn't some fuzzy wish. It's a clear, powerful statement of purpose that your whole team can get behind. But listen, a big goal is just a destination on a map. You still need directions to get there. And that's where you break that big goal down into smaller chunks using the SMART framework. This forces you to get real about what success actually looks like, how you'll measure it, and when it needs to get done. Okay, so your what is locked in. You've got your clear, SMART objectives. Now let's talk about the who. Because here's the thing, no project happens in a vacuum. You've got to figure out every single person who has a stake in this thing succeeding. And these are usually the main players. You've got your customer, the person you're actually solving the problem for. The sponsor, who is your champion, the one with the money and authority. Your team, who are in the trenches with you. And a whole bunch of others who are going to be impacted. Understanding what they all need is the secret sauce. Right, we have a clear mission and we know who all the key people are. Now it's time to actually draft the blueprint. This is where we turn that goal into a detailed, step-by-step map of all the work that needs to happen. The most important tool for this is something called a work breakdown structure, or WBS. Now I know that sounds super corporate and intimidating, but stick with me. It's actually really simple. Think of it like a recipe. You don't just bake a cake. You break it down into steps, right? Gather ingredients, mix, bake, frost. A WBS does the exact same thing for your huge project. And honestly, it's as simple as 1, 2, 3. First, you identify the big phases of the project. Then you break each of those down into smaller, actual tasks. And finally, you have these little work packages, the smallest chunks of work that you can actually estimate and assign to someone. See? Not so scary. So the WBS is your foundation. It's the frame of the house. But a complete blueprint needs a few more things. You need a schedule, so you know what has to happen first, a resource plan, so everyone knows their job, a communication plan to keep everybody in the loop, and, this is a big one, a plan for what to do when things go wrong, because they will. All right, the blueprint is drawn up. It looks great. Now you need to grab your toolbox so you can actually start building this thing. Let's talk about the software that helps bring that plan to life and keeps everyone on the same page. Now, let's be clear. Project management software is definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. You've got everything from really simple, beautiful tools for small teams all the way up to these massive, powerful systems for super complex projects. The key is to match the tool to your project, not the other way around.
Okay, we've talked about the plan and we've talked about the tools. That's the what and the how. But a blueprint is just a piece of paper without an architect to guide the whole process. So now, let's talk about the skills that make that architect, the project manager, truly great.
First up, you've got to know the technical stuff. This is the bedrock. You have to be able to speak the language, to build a plan, read a schedule, and actually measure if you're winning or losing. This is where your credibility comes from. Next, you need business expertise. A great project manager doesn't just get tasks done, they deliver real value. You have to understand the big picture, how your little project fits into the company's main goals to make sure you're building the right thing. And here's a huge one, problem solving. Because let's be real, no project in the history of projects has ever gone exactly to plan. Surprises will happen, fires will pop up. A great project manager doesn't freak out, they're a creative firefighter, finding ways to get things back on track. And finally, we get to the most important part of all, the people skills. A project is built by human beings. Your ability to communicate, to motivate, and to lead a team is what truly separates a manager from a real leader. You know, this quote just nails it. It's not about checking boxes on a schedule, it's about leadership. It's about creating a place where people actually want to come together and do amazing work. That's the real art behind all this science. So, there you have it. We've gone all the way from that tiny spark of an idea to a complete, ready-to-go blueprint. We've looked at the mission, the plan, the tools, and the person who brings it all together. The path is clear, all the pieces are right there in front of you, so the only question left is for you. You have the blueprint. What are you going to build first?